This is Optimal Play. I'm Brandon,
I'm Steven.
and it's been a while. How you doing, Steven?
Not bad. Beautiful weather here in LA.
Yeah,
Finally getting out of the house a little bit. Nothing too crazy.
yeah, same here. Trying to get out the front door now and then. Still working from home and everything. So, and I think it's starting to look more and more like that could be a very long term. The working from home thing, is that how?
Oh. I think we're gonna try to get a new office, but our current office expires in like the summer, so they might try to save money for a few months and like not have an office for a little while.
Yeah, I know. Both Ryan and my companies are sending out surveys about like, do you ever want to come back? Like that, evaluating what kind of money they could save. Maybe.
Oh yeah, you're a finance guy, right? So you're just like punching the numbers. Like, do I have to pay this big bill?
Right. Yeah. So I'm making the pros and cons lists, that kind of thing. Personally, I want to go back to the office though. I'm sick of this place.
Same, definitely.
I miss it. Well, and it's been a couple months. We're here to review the cards in the Arkham Horror, the card game pack, Horror and High Gear, which, according to some sources, came out in January, but neither of us managed to get our hands on it, right?
Yeah, I think my place got a couple copies, but they all sold out quickly.
All my local stores, and Steven and I live 10 miles apart, 15 miles apart from each other, not that far, but my nearest stores did not get it at all. Just period. Like, didn't know when they would, couldn't promise to set one aside for me in their next shipment or anything. It seems like it's been kind of a mess.
Yeah, I can't tell if they're making less or if people are buying more or both.
I don't know. Yeah, and I'm like, what we're doing here, like, we're making this for fun and to kind of be a part of the community, but also, like, this is free advertising for FFG, so I'm like, you gotta at least make it possible for me to get the packs.
So it sounds like this is like a wink wink, like FFG, send me some free copies.
If you want to send me, in fact, I can get these out, release date, if they're just, to me, a little early, like, please, my emails and
we'll give all the cards
profile.
Great reviews.
Yeah, there we go.
Every single one. Oh, you need this in your deck.
Yes. A+. We'll give every pack a buy rating. We'll start rating packs, and then we'll give every pack a buy rating. Just send us some free stuff. But yeah, no, it's like, I'm aware that we could do these videos by reading the cards on ArkhamDB, but I'm like, if you can't even distribute your game so that I can purchase it, like, why should I bend over backwards, like changing the format to keep doing this? So. I think we used to try to get these out as close to release as possible, and I would say those days are not going to be back until the packs are more reliable again.
Yeah, I imagine also people, if they're not able to get it at their store, I don't know, maybe people want to watch the video as a preview, but some people may want to wait until closer to actually being able to play with the cards.
Yeah, it depends on if you're like me and you enjoy opening them and seeing the cards kind of in hand. Before we did these videos, I used to just kind of read the cards online, but once we started doing kind of these videos where the whole idea was we are seeing the cards for the first time, it really grew on me. Like, I really have a lot more fun kind of going blind into the packs than looking at each preview or each leak and everything. So the downside is got to get the packs for that. Oh, so anyway, wow, it's just occurring to me, and we've been, several minutes in this recording, we did not make plans for previous cards to talk about. Do you remember what was in Devil Reef that you've played with so far?
So I have no idea what was in Devil Reef. It's been ages. So I'll just talk about something fun I did.
Okay.
Which is that I was playing Harvey through Innsmouth with a couple other players, and I shrewd analysis his Forbidden Tome, which is the like 4 action one that goes down to 1 action. When you
and shrewd analysis is the permanent that lets you get 2 upgrades for the price of 1 as long as you get them randomly.
Yeah. So there's about a 50% chance that you'll get 1 of each, and a 25% chance that you'll get 2 of one of them. So I got 1 of each, and it was actually like, I feel like the ideal combination. They're not unique. And Harvey just like moved around the map. So one of them moves you and gets you a clue, and the other one transfers a damage from you to an enemy. So Harvey was just like moving around the map, taking damage that he got from his weakness, which gave him probably about 12 to 15 damage.
Right.
And moving it on to enemies. And it was super fun.
That seems great. It hadn't occurred to me that those are not unique. And so they do exhaust when you use them, right? But as long as you have them down to one action, you can totally use both in tandem.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could spend a couple XP on Knowledge's Power to like do 2 damage, but there were some 1 damage enemies in the scenario that I was in, at least, so I was able to just move to places and do a damage.
Right.
That was enough. Or sometimes I would do a damage and then I would play the discard to do like 3 damage.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I was able to take out like a 4 HP enemy.
I've been mostly playing Innsmouth lately, as I kind of started a campaign, had a War of the Outer Gods side story with you, and started it over.
The Alina Harper one that was like moving all around Innsmouth.
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't feel like there were a lot of 1 hit point enemies in.
Oh, some of the cultists
Innsmouth,
were 1 hit point.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. In the Vanishing of Alina Harper, the mystery one. I guess there are like a lot of kind of fragile humanoids in there. Once you're mostly fighting the fish people, they're usually a little beefier than that. So I worry. I don't know. Have you played further with that deck? Has Harvey continued to feel that powerful?
I don't think we haven't played the next one yet.
Oh, okay. I'm curious to see if that continues to serve you, because doing 1 damage to a 2 hit point enemy is like not that exciting.
Although I think the recurring damage, getting rid of damage is good, because all those fish people like do a damage when they engage you. So I think having some kind of recurring way to get damage off you is nice.
Good point. Yeah, those deep ones with the engagement effects. That's a way to. It is a funny little thing that you don't really worry about until you play that Forbidden Tome, is that when it moves a damage onto an enemy, sometimes you just are healthy, and it's not that useful.
You can also, there's some fun things, like I'm playing with a Tommy, so like theoretically I could move damage off his Beat Cop or his Guard Dog to let him use those things more times with the Forbidden Tome. Luckily, Harvey's been so damaged that I've just been taking it off Harvey. But theoretically, if his weakness hadn't given him like 15 damage, then I could move it off the Beat Cop or the Guard Dog.
With his weakness is what, a card per 3 or a damage per 3 cards in his hand, or something like that?
Then once you have a 15 card hand, your deck is really small, so you draw the weakness over and over and over.
You're right. No shortage of damage for that Seeker in particular, I guess. Speaking of damage, I have played Radiant Smite a few times. I think that was in the Devil Reef pack. That card is bananas.
Yeah, I think we had high hopes for that one. It seemed cool.
This 1 damage event that does as much as 4 damage.
You mean 1 XP, right?
So did I say 1 damage? I meant 1 resource cost. It is also 1 XP, I think, but it is 1 resource cost as well, right?
I think so.
To do up to 4 damage, and it's a spell and it's spirit, so like everyone who cares about either of those can use it. You do have to build around it some. Like, it's been great I've been streaming my Innsmouth campaign with Kyle. I am Nate, and he is a bless-themed Mateo. And so Mateo is doing all the work getting the blesses in the bag. The only bless-themed card I'm really running in Nate is Radiant Smite. And yeah, when you don't even have to devote any of your own deck to putting blesses into the bag, it feels real strong.
Yeah, is it a spirit? Can he find it with the boxing gloves?
Yes, he can.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it is spell and spirit traded, and so and blessed. So actually, I don't think Kyle was running it in Mateo yet, but he probably should, because he can use willpower instead of combat, and yeah, it's bonkers. I think it's one of the strongest cards in a while.
Yeah, I think I played it in a Sister Mary, and it was pretty strong there too. In fact, you don't even lose the blessings if you don't kill the person. So if you're just like warming up a boss, then it's like practically free.
It can make interesting decisions a little bit, like do I actually want to choose, because you can basically choose how many blessings to pull out of the bag and to do that much extra damage, up to 3 extra damage. Do you want to only do 2 just so that you don't kill it with this and consume those blesses? It can be a little, but usually just as much damage as possible is the way to go. Then you can do other things with the other actions, maybe that result in more blesses. I don't know. Anyway, all right, I'm excited for new cards. First time in a couple months that we've gotten to talk about some. Want to lead us off?
Sure. So starting with the Guardian cards, we have Enchanted Armor. So this one is a one cost, 2 XP, asset, body, and arcane. Which have we seen
Oh,
body and arcane before?
no, we've seen Hand and Arcane and like Enchanted Blade. And actually, Enchanted is the common theme here, I guess. But no, I don't think so.
And it's got Health X and Sanity X. Play Enchanted Armor under the control of any investigator at your location.
Hmm.
Forced, after damage and or horror is placed on Enchanted Armor, the owner of Enchanted Armor takes will X, where X is the total of amount of damage and horror on it. If the test fails, discard Ancient Armor and assign the damage and or horror just placed on it elsewhere. Oh, so you might not actually soak it.
Oh, that's that part. Okay, that's weird. That actually, if you fail the test, you don't get to place the
Yeah.
damage and horror on it that you thought you were about to.
Yeah.
So that's scary. Interesting card. So first, the fact that you can just play this for anyone, that's a weird little mechanic.
Yeah, but the more common thing with Guardians is that you play it on yourself, but it soaks damage from anyone,
Right.
which is more flexible. This is a lot less flexible because you have to make the decision at the beginning.
Yeah, and it again, without, like the bless and curse mechanics have this cycle. This has nothing to do with that really, but it does have kind of that multiplayer coordination of deck building aspect where maybe you put this in your Guardian deck that doesn't have a particularly high willpower themselves, just so you can hand it to the Mystic. Because they have a higher willpower and can use it to soak a lot. As soon as I started saying that, though, why would a Mystic use one of their arcane slots on this? I don't know.
And the Guardians, I mean, there's a lot of cards. There's Tetsuo, there's True Grit, there's Brother Savior. There's lots of ways that you could just soak damage for that Mystic. The only time I could really see this being playable maybe is like if you're playing Sister Mary and you're also playing with some other character that has high will, so there's at least like two valid targets, like myself or them.
Yeah, what I will say is pretty cool about it is that it can basically, you can soak whatever what am I saying? It can soak whatever you need it to soak, right? Like if you have low health and plenty of sanity, you can just put your health on it or put your damage on it or just put your horror on it. So it's kind of like an Elder Sign amulet or a bulletproof vest, whichever you need in the moment, or whichever your investigator needs. Which that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the resource cost is very low. So like, I mean, there are some characters with high will that don't have neither arcane slots too much. I think Leo Anderson's is pretty decent. Pete and Duke, they have pretty decent will. So
yeah.
If you're playing next to characters like them, or if you are them, maybe.
Yeah, it's really, this is interesting. The longer I look at this, kind of the more nuanced it feels. Because, like, there's a lot of, for example, treacheries where if you don't pass an agility test, you take damage or something, right? This almost converts that test to willpower in a way, right? Or like you're gonna fail the agility test, but if you have decent willpower, you can store that here, and it's kind of like you passed the agility test in the first place. Interesting. I don't know whose deck I would put it in, but I think it's a fascinating card.
Yeah, I think if it at least soaked the damage on the test that fails, I would be a little more enthusiastic about it.
Right. Okay, well, Blessing of Isis is next. This is actually the one from this pack that I have seen just because the pack's been out for a while, and a couple, including you actually, a couple people that I played with were excited about it. Blessing of Isis. It is a 2 resource cost, level 3 Guardian asset. It's a ritual and blessed. And as a reaction, when a second blessed token is revealed during a single skill test at your location, exhaust Blessing of Isis. Cancel that token, treat it as if it were an Elder Sign token instead, return both of those tokens to the Chaos bag after this test ends. So I have very mixed feelings on this so far. How do you like this?
On its own, I don't think it's good. Like,
me neither.
Even when you have 10 blessings in the bag, I still feel like I rarely draw one, and I hardly ever draw two. Like, I think there are some upcoming cards that manipulate a little more that can make this worthwhile. But like, I think if you're playing this just because you often have a lot of blessings in the bag, you're not getting great value out of it.
Yeah, especially because when you've drawn 2 blesses, you're probably passing that test anyway. Like, probably, not necessarily, but this keeps you safe from a bless auto fail kind of draw,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think we've all had once or twice. But ultimately, if you look at it as like, well, it's an auto succeed on 2 blesses, that's not actually that valuable. It does depend a lot on what your Elder Sign ability is, because this
Yeah.
treats it as an Elder Sign, and that could be huge.
So like you immediately think like Sister Mary, but like her Elder Sign is actually terrible for this because it's like just add 1 more bless. Like you probably already
You
have 10
probably had it
blessing.
way up there already, yeah.
Mateo's is much, much better. The fact that you get an extra action or a card and a resource
Mm-hmm.
makes this much better in him than it is in Sister Mary.
Yeah, that's the one place is in Kyle's Mateo deck. That's where I've really seen this shine, is when he's using all of McBride to draw 3 tokens and choose 2, and that makes it a lot more likely to find 2 blesses. And so this has triggered a lot in those games. And even as the Nate playing along with Mateo, I've benefited from this converting some of my tests to Elder Signs, and Nate's Elder Sign recovering an event from his discard pile is also great. So it's been huge. It's a major build around card though, right?
Definitely.
Like you're using your all up to try to trigger this. And like, so whether that whole devoting a chunk of your deck and your strategy and your resources to this, whether that's better than the other things you could do, even though this feels very fun and strong when it works, I don't know that it's actually
like
an amazing card.
Sister Mary could take all of McBride as well, but like given that her Elder Sign is not that great, like is that better than taking like a Brother Xavier that provides you will and soak, and like as you said, like you're still probably going to pass as long as you get like a bless,
right? Yeah, so I don't know. It's a fun card. It's a very fun card. Like I've sang the praises of the curse and bless mechanic because I enjoy the chaos and the unpredictability that it can bring to the game, and this fits in great with that. It makes like the highs even higher. So I think it's super fun. I don't think it's like broken or as strong as I think I've heard a few people talk about it.
It's not broken, and it's also really cool that like Mateo, who is like a bottom tier investigator, and Olive, who's like a pretty janky card, are like actually like legitimate cards now.
Agreed. Do you know, before moving on, Blessing of Isis, Voice of Ra, is it a thing that the blesses are like, these are in the Innsmouth cycle? Why are they seemingly tied to like Egyptian mythology? Do you have any?
Oh, I have no idea.
Me neither.
Actually, blessings are actually bad for Voice of Ra, though. They decrease your amount of resources from Voice of Ra.
Oh, you're right. They do. Voice of Ra is.
It's just you reveal.
Why did I think? Oh, I was getting that confused with Ward of Radiance. Ra Radiance.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe there's just been a lot of Egyptian mythology references, but not necessarily tied to blesses. Okay, forget I brought it up. What do we got next?
All right, the Cryptic Grimoire. Do you have the original handy?
Yeah, so these are the upgrades to the untranslated asset from the deluxe box, which at the time we just skipped over because what's the point? So I did suspect that they would be in one of the 2 packs we're sitting down to review today, so I brought it along. The Cryptic Grimoire, untranslated, said it's a level 0 seeker asset, 3 resource cost. It's in a hand slot, and it's a tome and a cult for when that matters. As an action, add a curse token to the chaos bag. It's fun, trolly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then as an action, if there are 10 curse tokens in the chaos bag, discard Cryptic Grimoire, record in your campaign log that you have translated the Grimoire, and replace 5 curse tokens in the chaos bag with 5 bless tokens. So it's not even like you could convert all 10. It's not a roundabout way to bless the bag. It's in its own. This is not a card anyone would play. What can we do once we've translated it?
Sure. So the first one is Text of the Elder Herald. It's 3 costs, 4 XP. It's an item, tome, and cursed. You can only include this by upgrading fast action. After you resolve 1 or more curse tokens during a skill test, place that many secrets on Cryptic Grimoire. And then fast response. I should say response, not action. When you play an insight event during your turn, spend 2 secrets. That event gains fast, reduce its cost by 1.
Oh wow, this is a little. So most of the past like upgrading assets are things like you use this when you evade or you do some damage with this. This is a little more subtle, right?
It turns you into Joe, right? It turns curses into Joe Diamond.
Oh, that's true. It discounts your insights. Yeah. And it makes them fast and reduces their cost by 1. So it actually is even like a 2 discount on kind of economy.
Yeah, so I guess you could theoretically play a Joe with lots of like 3 and 4 cost insights and then just make them even cheaper.
Interesting. This does seem like a Joe card because
but
insights...
most insights are not more than 2, so I don't think that's actually a good idea.
Joe already makes them 0. Yeah, although this does make them fast. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
This is one that it's hard to, without really pulling up the list of insights, and it's hard to really kind of see.
Well, it's like
strength of this.
Think about the common Joe ones. So there's like preposterous sketches, like 1 cost and fast. That's definitely a lot better.
Working a hunch was already
fast, but at least 1. Logical reasoning, that 1 cost and fast is a lot better. There's that Guardian one that discovers a clue that is not fast. Scene of the crime.
Is that an insight? Yeah, it is, huh?
I think so. Yeah. So if you're,
I think you're right.
If you're, any of the Guardian Seeker characters. So I guess, I mean, I feel like you would just kind of build it like a Joe deck, I guess, but play this instead of Joe.
Yeah. Huh. And then what do you think about what you have to do to actually get these secrets? It has to be you who resolves the curse. It's not at your location or anything. You're not sharing this or benefiting from your teammates drawing it. And then I'm trying to think to how exactly the covenants work. Like, does this work if you use the Seeker Covenant that counts a curse as a +1 and throws it back in the bag? Does that count as resolving it for this purpose?
Yeah,
it does. Okay.
One of the great things about the Seeker one is that it doesn't cancel it or anything. It just modifies the number.
Okay, so this is a natural fit with that then, and it keeps those curses in the bag and boosts your test. Okay, I with that established, I think that this seems pretty easy to rack up secrets on then.
Yeah, the only difficult thing is that we were just kind of talking about this with Blessing of Isis, is like, even if you have like 10 of your preferred bless or curse, like sometimes you just don't draw them. So like, it actually makes me think of like, is there an Olive McBride? There's a lot of Seeker Mystics, so like maybe there's an Olive McBride that tries to fish for lots of curses.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. I'm eager to try it. I have had a lot of fun building decks and playing with the Bless archetype, but I haven't done much with the curses so far. I've mostly just played things like Faustian Bargain, like kind of suffered through them as a trade-off to getting powerful cards, which is great. I was looking forward to kind of seeing when Seeker can develop that, like, I actually want to curse the bag kind of feel. So I'm eager to try it. I will have to experiment to see what fun I can have with it.
Yeah, I kind of like the curse mechanics better, actually, because like with the blessed ones, like as I said, sometimes you get up to 10 and you still aren't drawing them.
Yeah.
With the Seeker ones, like if you get up to 10 and you're not drawing the curses, like, I mean, maybe if you're playing Armageddon or something, you're a little frustrated, but most of the time you're like not too frustrated by that. So
because usually you got benefits as you added those curses
exactly,
to the bag,
right?
So
even if you don't hit them on your Armageddon, you're like, well, at least I got some money from Faustian Bargain or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
and I think that's why those curse cards are generally so good, is because you may not draw those curses, and when you draw them, they may not matter, but you got something great in exchange for putting them in there, and you got it up front, so you were able to kind of snowball your character, set up quickly, whatever it was. Versus the bless cards, it's like, well, I did something kind of weak right now, I spent some resources right now, and maybe those blesses will help down the road. Yeah. That's a harder sell.
Yep.
There is one more version of the Grimoire. It's the text of the Elder Guardian. Same cost, same XP, a little different icons. This one still gets a secret when you resolve one or more curse tokens. So let me just read this rather than trying to paraphrase. I don't know why I'm doing that. After you resolve one or more curse tokens during a skill test, place that many secrets on Cryptic Grimoire. And then when you would draw the top card of the encounter deck, spend 5 secrets, draw a card from your deck instead.
That's awesome.
I love this.
That seems really good.
Yeah. Wow.
5 secrets is a lot,
but
that's a really powerful effect.
But if you can resolve this, especially in combination with that Covenant, if you can get 10 secrets per game, do this twice per game, like that's pretty good. Canceling essentially 2 encounter cards and drawing a card each time. Seems good to me. This does take up a hand slot, so it is kind of sitting there doing nothing while it builds up those secrets.
These are not unique, right?
They are not unique. You can have one in each hand, yeah. Or
so,
2 of these, yeah.
If you want the really janky play, you have both. You use the insight one to play the insight that puts secrets on a card on the one that cancels encounter cards, and then you use that to cancel encounter cards.
I was wondering what Eldritch Sophist, which is that ally that moves secrets around between assets, how can you build a deck that just like manages to get 5 secrets on here practically every round and you never draw an encounter card again? You think you can get there?
Well, so there's definitely like decks that you can build around creating and moving secrets. So that would include Sophist. It would include Enraptured if you have access to Mystic. It would include maybe that Insight that adds secrets. There's even does the original Cryptic Grimoire, does that start with secrets? I feel like there was some.
No, there's no secrets involved on the untranslated Cryptic Grimoire.
I feel like there was one of those untranslated cards that started with secrets, but I can't remember what it was.
Yes, I think there is one that you're spending secrets as you use actions on it, and then when there are no secrets left, you can upgrade it. I forget the detail. I can throw it on the screen.
But yeah, like there's some deck you could build around like manipulating a lot of secrets where you could get this 5 secret payoff more often than just like the once or twice a game it would happen if it was like natural.
And this, well, I would say because this potentially causes a lot of extra card draws. It couldn't fit into big hand archetypes, but then also those big hand archetypes are trying to put those forbidden tomes in their hand slots instead of this. I don't know if there's room to
Dream
do it all.
Is another good one for big hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think you're probably, if you draw 2 or 3 cards from this, you're pretty happy. Like I don't think. Like that. It's not a huge card draw card.
You're right. It's not generating a lot, but just, I mean, at no additional cost of actions, if you're drawing 2 or 3 more cards, like your hand is basically 2 or 3 cards bigger. That makes a big difference. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I'm excited to build around these. They both really scream build around, and in multiple ways, because you have to build around the curses, and at least in the case of insights, you need to make sure you're building around the payoff also. Maybe less so in Cryptic Grimoire or in Elder Guardian, because you don't have to build around the fact that there's a Mythos phase. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, I would also take a look at them in Seekers that take a lot of actions. So like Ursula, any Seeker that uses like Pathfinders a lot, like since you're trying to get so many curses, you really want to be taking like 3 tests a turn.
Sure.
So, and like Ursula can potentially take 4 tests a turn. So,
yeah, good point. It does make and things like what's the relatively new Seeker asset that can do a fast investigate?
Oh yeah, I know.
Cryptographic Cipher.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So that one actually has secrets on it that you could potentially manipulate if you are doing Eldritch Sophist, and it can cause extra tests. That seems like a natural combo. If
you're built around like I'm gonna just use deduction 2 to get all the clues that I need for the turn, like that's 1 test. You're not revealing many curses.
You're right. So. You're right. It doesn't really go with that like giant. A few giant tests is not the way you play with this, because you want to get those curses, and you can't benefit from your teammates doing it.
Like the glyphs is like anti-synergy, where it's like I want to succeed by 10 and get all the clues.
Yeah, totally agreed. Very cool. I think that is a sweet payoff. I still wish that these came out in the deluxe box and there wasn't a 4-month gap between the useless level 0 and the upgrades, but I am excited about the upgrades, so that's very cool.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the rogue cards. Reastrod is a spell, spirit, and cursed, 0 cost, 1 XP fight event. So when you initiate this attack, add up to 3 curse tokens to the chaos bag. For each curse token added, you get +1 fight and deal +1 damage for this attack. That seems really good.
I heard very little of that because I was staring at this art. Holy crap. What is going on? That is monstrous. I really like that art. Oh, I don't even know how to describe it. It reminds me of like the thralls in Mansions of Madness that you see their like hand kind of growing out and monstrous. Anyway, this also seems really strong. It's like an inverse Radiant Smite, which I was just singing the praises of. Instead of taking blesses out of the bag, it's adding curses to the bag. But still seems strong for most of the same reasons. The ability to do as much as, +3 skill and +3 damage on your attack.
Yeah, and I actually feel like it's almost I guess you're not taking. Sorry, the +3 curses is pretty good. Like, with curse decks, I rarely hit the 10 limit where it's like I can't add more than 10. But I'm always happy to be at 10. So I feel like curse decks, like, it's always going down to like 5 or 6 or whatever, and like bringing that back up to 9, like, bring it on. Like, that sounds great. So I don't think of that as a downside to this card at all.
Yeah, I hadn't even processed that as a downside. Is that if the bag is already at 9 curses, then you are limited as to what you can do with this. But
theoretically, if you don't have other stuff that benefits from curses, it's just bad to have them. But
I mean, that's the theory behind this card in a vacuum, right? Is it's extremely strong, but you pay for it later with curses. Same with Bastion Bargain and these others. Luckily, there's cards that make it less of a downside.
Yeah, like the cards we just read, like Trish. No, Trish can't take those.
Trish can't take the level 4 Seeker cards, no. But she can take. Can she take Mitch? Maybe she doesn't. I think all the cards that really like curses. Well, so like Gaze of Orosh was another one, right? That's the one that does some damage based on how many curses you pull out of the bag. It's a Seeker card. I think that was low enough level that Trish could take it. Yeah,
I also think that just team ups between characters with Seeker access and Rogue access are just very strong.
Yep.
Suite of cards.
Agreed. And again, it comes down to this mechanic so much is about those multiplayer strategies and how you're collaborating and building your decks. So very cool. Next, this is a familiar face, right? On Tristan Botley.
Yeah, this is Evan. What's his last name now? He's an FFG employee.
If you've watched any of the streams that they did on like YouTube and Twitch, I think they've not done many of those lately, but last year they were doing a lot. I think he kind of hosted them. He's like a community manager kind of person there. Is he still there?
No, he just left. Oh, it's Evan Johnson. Yeah,
Evan Johnson. Okay,
he just left.
Oh wow, so his 5-year like tribute card came out right around the time he left the company, but it's still cool. Well, here he appears as Tristan Botley, the Fixer for Hire, a 5 resource cost, level 2 rogue asset who's an ally, a criminal, and curse. After your turn begins, choose 2 skills. Until the start of your next turn, you get +1 to each of those skills. Whoa! So it's a plus. It's like an ally that gives a boost to 2 skills, but it's a variable too, depending on what you need.
Yeah, it's sort of like a slightly worse Man with the Red Gloves, but that doesn't.
But sticks around
like one turn.
Yeah. And then after any skill test ends in which a total of 3 or more curse or bless tokens were revealed, play Tristan Botley from your hand at no cost. Wow. This is cool. This is a really interesting way to make the curses and blesses pay off also.
Yeah, so I actually have played with this one because I was playing a Dexter deck that really needed some more soak. So I was like, this has 3 hit points. Like, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
I have not got the trigger to happen, but there's times when you're late in a scenario and you just have money and you need soak and you like the idea of higher stats. So I feel like you put this in your deck if you're okay with the second trigger maybe not happening.
Yeah, and as I think about it, the mind always goes to like the best case scenario. As I think about it a little more, you're right. You tend to have extra money late in the game, depending on your deck and everything and the circumstances. But this is also most likely to trigger in the late game when you've kind of had a lot of time to load up the bag with all these special tokens. So like maybe he comes into play late when you either, if he's in your deck, you wanted him earlier, or you have the money anyway. So getting him for free is like, woo! I'm sitting on my 11 resources. So maybe not as like dazzling as it was as I read it, but I don't know. I love when they set up for like super fun moments, and this does that.
Yeah, and I mean certainly things like Olive McBride or whatever can make him more likely to pop out. Also, Preston needs more stats and has no problem just paying the 5. Like that's no big deal to him.
Oh, true. Yeah, great card for Preston to get +1 to whatever skills he needs that turn. It bothers me a little bit that the game doesn't have a good way to track your choice here, because you make a choice on your turn that like will still be applying in the next Mythos phase, which might be 10 minutes later, depending on how quickly you're playing and stuff. The game just doesn't have tokens or anything that are good for tracking this. That's my one gripe with this. Otherwise, this is a cool card.
Yeah. Also, fun story, Tris Botley is also a Game of Thrones card that it also looks like Evan. So this is actually a cross-game reference.
Oh, I would not have picked that up. I'm not a Thrones player. Cool.
And House Botley is a like subsidiary house of House Greyjoy. So this guy is actually a pirate.
So fitting in the rogue class. That's I guess that's where the criminal trait comes from, because nothing else on here really makes him sound like a criminal. Cool. What do we got from Mystic?
All right. Curse of Eons? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, that's how I'd say
it. Ritual and Cursed. 2 cost, 3 XP. Reaction. When a second curse token is revealed during a single skill test at your location, exhaust Curse of Eons. Oh, so it's reverse Blessing of Isis.
Yeah.
Cancel that token and treat it as if it were a skull token instead. You may choose to remove both of those tokens from the Chaos bag after the test ends.
Yeah, it parallels Blessing of Isis pretty closely.
Except, like, there's lots of investigators that want an Elder Sign, and I typically think only Jim builds decks that really care about getting skulls. So is this only a Jim card?
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of I'm failing to think of it. Like, there are plenty of Mystic cards that trigger when you. Here we go. Like Wither and Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is a reason you want to draw a skull, and a lot of Mystics play
that's
that.
True. Yeah,
right?
Sixth Sense 4 is pretty powerful.
Yeah. So that's very. I know that in Innsmouth, very minor mechanical spoilers on Innsmouth, you have opportunities to permanently remove special tokens from the bag, and my Mystic partner was like, "No, I need those." And so. Yeah, this is one way to trigger something like Sixth Sense. And in theory, drawing a skull is usually better than drawing 2 curses and another token, as far as whether you're likely to pass the test.
Yeah, skulls are always like start off fine and then are generally pretty bad by the end of a scenario.
Yeah, but usually, at least at standard difficulty, they don't get much worse than like -4, which these curses were already -4.
But if your first curse was -2, you're now at -6 or something. So it's definitely not like guaranteeing that you succeed.
Well, this cancels.
Interesting. The first one.
It doesn't cancel the first curse.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
like
that's quite a bit worse than I thought. Then
you can totally be at -6 after this.
Unless
you're Jim, in which case the skull is 0.
I don't think this is any good then. If it doesn't replace your test result with the modifier of the skull, if it still keeps a curse, I don't like it.
Yeah. I think in a Jim Song of the Dead build, like, sure, you play it, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is very interesting to see a card that focuses on one token like that, right? Like, we've never seen a card that triggers off of just the cultist or just the tablet or something. So that's Interesting. And Jim obviously kind of does that with skulls, so it's not uncharted territory. Yeah, maybe there's something there. Maybe this is the rogue succeed by archetype that another 4 cycles from now there will be enough stuff that revolves around skulls. And this will be interesting, but until then, meh.
Maybe also like some kind of mystic survivor that's trying to fail by a lot. Load up the bag with curses.
Okay, yeah. Fail by decks. Yeah, this does help you get there. Although then again, why would you cancel a curse? Just let the curses trip fire. You're still doing pretty well on your failure.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know. That was the only Mystic card, probably because a future pack has a lot of Mystic cards as they get upgrades to all their curse spells. I'm hoping.
Yes, hopefully we.
I'm real tired of trying to play that archetype and not being able to upgrade the core cards. All right, so then on to Survivor. They have Unrelenting. It is a 1 experience or a level 1 skill. I think the first skill we've seen of this whole pack. It's Practiced. Max 1 committed per test. Oh, it has a wild icon, by the way. That matters a lot on skills. After you commit Unrelenting to a skill test, search the Chaos Bag for up to 3 non-auto-fail Chaos tokens of your choice and seal them on Unrelenting. If all 3 tokens sealed on Unrelenting are +1/0, Bless, and/or Elder Signs, draw 2 cards. Release all tokens sealed here after this test ends. Wow, this is cool. This is really flexible. It lets you seal the bad tokens you don't want to draw and guarantee you won't draw them. Or it lets you make the test a little harder on yourself by taking blesses and things out, but draw 2 cards as a reward.
Yeah, and I guess there's even a third use of like, if you're really confident in the test and you don't want to get any blesses because you want to keep them in the bag, it's good for that too.
Yeah. And you can draw the 2 cards that way.
My first thought as soon as you started on it was, oh, it's Practiced. Is there some kind of Mandy Practice Makes Perfect deck that wants to play this?
She can choose Survivor as one of her off class, right? I don't think I see people doing that very often, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know that she has a ton of ways to add blessings. I guess you can use her Survivor cards for that. Mandy with what's Token of Faith,
right? Yeah. No, wait, Mandy couldn't run Token of Faith because she doesn't get the assets of her off class.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Keep Faith. I think she can run.
Yes. Yeah, which is a better card than I thought. If you want the blesses in the bag, like it's not that's a card that I kind of scoffed at and have actually seen kind of doing good work. Anyway, that was a tangent. I actually think, and the art I think has Silas in it. Silas gets to throw this in, seal the bad tokens, and then just return this to his hand and use it again in the future, right? And kind of repeatedly seal the worst tokens as he takes tests if he wants to.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think that this is a natural Silas option.
He also would get the draw too, right? And then still get the card back?
I think so. That's a little the like fine print of the rules, the way they work there always gets me a little turned around. But I mean, yeah, this triggers, as far as I know, this entire paragraph triggers when you commit it. So like you draw those 2 cards immediately before you've completed the test. So yeah.
That's a pretty strong Silas card.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then pull it back to your hand and use it again to draw 2 cards later. Seems good.
Yeah, and then I guess just in general, 1 wild with 2 draw, with the slight opportunity cost if he has no synergy, pretty solid.
Yeah, I think this card's awesome, and I adore the design, just the flexibility that it brings. Having this in your hand, there are just very different ways you can use it, and I think they're all quite good.
Oh, one last thing. Agnes, if she wants to use all of the Jacqueline cards that don't like good tokens, she can use it to never take damage from this.
She can use Clairvoyance and those other cards that punish you for the +1s and the Elder Signs. That's a good point. That feels like a little bit of a long shot because this only would work for 1 test. But sure, why not?
The other Survivor card is Signum Crucis. Skill, also Practice and Blessed, but 2 XP, so Mandy can't take it. One wild icon, commit only to a skill test you're performing, and only if the difficulty of that test is higher than your base skill value. After you commit Signum Crucis to a skill test, add X bless token to the Chaos bag. X is the difference between the test difficulty and your base skill value, which is 0 because I think you're playing this in Calvin.
Yeah, as any time that it's referring to your base skill value, like Calvin is friend of mine because if you're unfamiliar, he has 0s as all of his base skills and his abilities raise them.
I think Preston can take it too.
Yeah, level 2 survivor. Yeah, Preston who has 1s as base skills. Yep. And then Amanda can take practiced, right? That's the trait she cares about.
Oh yeah, that's true. Her base skill's not that great.
No, it's 2s. Yeah, so she'll have opportunities to put this into like a 5 difficulty test and get 3 blesses out of it. And I should say 3 blesses on every action for that turn, potentially. Cool. I think Survivor wins this pack for me. These cards are both awesome.
I think they're definitely the most fun, and I am excited about both of them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not like that big a Survivor player, so it's rare that I'm like. The cards that give me goosebumps are the Survivor cards, but these are both going to be a lot of fun.
Calvin's a character I like to return to every once in a while to see how the new cards have treated him, so I'm definitely excited about these.
I love his design, and ever since I had our blind play of the Forgotten Age, where he got turned into a Yithian when he had 10 total trauma on him, I have not played Calvin again. I personally was too traumatized.
Coward.
Yeah, I got to get back to Calvin. You're right, and these. I think honestly, even both of these cards are good Calvin cards, but especially this Signum Crucis. Mm-hmm. All right, thoughts on the pack? I think it's a pretty fun set of cards.
Yeah, totally. I think like other than I think there's like 2 cards, Enchanted Armor and Curse of Eons, that we were like not that excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And, like everything else, we were pretty excited to put in some decks.
Pretty high on, yeah. We're really, we started with the deluxe box, having lots of ways to put curses and blesses into the bag, but we assumed we were kind of waiting for the leveled up cards to really see the payoffs on that. And now that we're seeing them, like I continue to love what they're doing here. I think that this is shaping up to be my favorite cycle of all, just because I'm loving the mechanics so much. And these cards, yeah, mostly great, mostly really reward you for playing with those tokens.
Yeah, and I hope that this maybe encourages FFG to have like a little flexibility where like I'm sure when they were designing the cycle they weren't planning to like ever do blessed cursings again, but like,
yeah,
if people love it, like maybe they can come up with like a new format where they just release like a pack of player cards with blessing and cursings once a year or something like
yeah. At the same time, it's probably, I would say that the curse and bless stuff seems pretty powerful. So if you keep releasing more and more options, it's going to end up really, really strong. I wonder if they can really release all that many more cards that like kind of, don't just get like that are at a similar power level to these without it just being insane and like blowing away expert difficulty. That's maybe my concern. There's only so many cards they can put like, automatically succeed and Elder Sign and things onto before the game is just trivialized.
Yeah, I mean they've definitely managed to find some pretty janky Bless Curse cards as well too, like Paradoxical Covenant. Like,
yeah,
I was playing with that one. Like the Jacqueline in my group had that one the other day, and I was like, this card is really bad.
Did it ever trigger?
I think maybe once, but it's not even an Elder Sign. It's just a success. So it's like,
yeah,
what did we go to all that effort for? Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here?
Very strange card, but it's like I'm not mad it exists. It's fun. It's funny. Like, I enjoyed reading it. I have never played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like already I'm already looking forward to the return to the Innsmouth Conspiracy box, just because I assume there will be, a year or two will go by and then we'll get at least one more round of Curse and Blesses in there. I guess that's usually alternate like different leveled versions of the existing cards, so maybe it wouldn't be anything that new.
Well, there would be like a new Cryptic Grimoire that would have a totally new effect.
Right.
So
stuff like that to look forward to. Plus we have Horror and High Gear is only the 3rd pack of the Innsmouth cycle, right? We got 3 packs to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so still some room for some fun high level stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited. All right, well, we are sitting down to record a Light in the Fogs review pretty much as soon as we finish this one. So if you're watching this, look for that one to be up on Optimal Play shortly afterwards. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love it if you did, and like this video. Steven, any final words before we move on?
I guess like we can actually kind of get in high gear right now during pandemic, because not as much traffic, though I feel like the horror has been returning slowly recently. So
it's true. We both live in Los Angeles, and so like, what is high gear? I've always wondered what the numbers above 20 on my odometer were for. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to playing this scenario too, because I think I haven't played it yet. I don't know if you have, but the promise of vehicles.
Yeah, it's Essex on cars. Essex meets Red Warrior.
Sure. Okay. Sounds great. I'm excited for it. Well, yeah, we'll be back soon with the next pack, and hopefully the rest of the cycle if FFG decides to ship them to California. And we'll see you then. Till then, be optimal.